Let's have some fun, shall we? Hello all of you little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who was promised that the weather would be getting bloody better, but it snowed here in bloody Wales. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than James Civil by name, Civil by nature, for their suggestion of video game post-credit sequences that changed everything. Now, this is the thing. When it comes to completing a video game, there's a sense of satisfaction you get from doing that is completely unparalleled. As you kick back and put your feet up on the table, you might feel the sort of warmth radiating through your body. In fact, now that you think about it, it's kind of radiating down from your ankle, kind of like you forgot to move a fork off of the aforementioned table and just slammed your foot down on top of it. Ow. But yes, but for your emotions, satisfying, rippling through your body like pain or pleasure, depending on how you look at things. That is what it feels like to complete a game. But sometimes video games use a post-credit sequence to either tease an upcoming sequel, show us the fate of the antagonists or protagonists of the main cast, or sometimes even use it to have a laugh at you. But all of these have one thing in common, and that is that they change everything. Be it tone, be it narrative shift, be it character arcs, all of which are here for us to look at today. So why don't we get on with it? As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 7 video game post-credit sequences that change everything. And say hi to me here in the live chat, and also drop down your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comments section below. And yes, you're probably asking yourself, why are you wearing this glorious beanie over your head? Well, it is because of the fact that it is very, very cold, as I've just stated. It snowed here yesterday, and it boggles my tiny little brain, but also because my friend Mikhail has actually launched his own brewery line, and this is it here, Central, so go check it out. Big ledge. Anyway, let's get on with that list. Number 7, deleting your save, Nier Automata. So as I have stated many times, Nier Automata Potato Patata is not a game that plays by any of your so-called rules. Jazz, you know those rules that we were talking about before? Disregard them, throw them in the bin, scrumple them up on a piece of paper and throw them into James's face. Because Nier Automata Potato Patata does not play by them, okay? From its balmy opening segment that forces players through several challenging sections while also switching gameplay styles on the fly, through to the insane moment where you can take on the literal CEOs of Platinum Games and Square Enix in a secret boss fight, it is clear that you should expect the unexpected. However, I don't think that anyone could have prepared themselves for the rather emotional gut punch that was this game's end credits sequence. So after besting the final boss, you'll start to see the credits roll. So far, so normal, right? Well, no, because the game posits you in charge of a ship and turns this into a gameplay sequence where you actually start shooting apart the credits, kind of like in Star Fox, and you think to yourself, oh, this is pretty fun, and then it gets not fun because it turns into a bullet hell sequence that would make the likes of Tohu's knees shudder. As you blast apart the names of those who lovingly made this game, you'll soon become overwhelmed by enemy fire and likely die to the sheer onslaught of projectiles. However, instead of exiting the experience, the game will then ask you if you would like some assistance, and by selecting yes, you'll be supported by a ton of AI fighters, each helping you take down the developers. And yet, when the final name explodes into beautiful pixels, you're not actually done yet, because the game then presents you with a choice. It reveals that those AI supporting fighters that were helping you out, they were actually other players, but they actually chose to sacrifice their own save data in order to allow themselves to be uploaded and help out other players. And now you are given the same choice. Do you hold on to the memories that you've made throughout this video game, or do you let go of everything in order to help other players? What a beautiful choice. And it's an incredibly tough one to say the least, and it is indeed one that will make you look at Nier Automata, Potato Patata, in a brand new light, whatever you decide. Number 6, Shepard is still alive? Mass Effect 3. After spending hours with the crew of the Normandy across the adventures of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, battling the likes of Saren, the Collectors, the Reapers, I think that it's fair to say that many people were not ready to say goodbye to Commander Shepard. After all, it was their decisions that became so legendary. Their actions shaped the entire universe. Their stories will live on forever, and all people around the globe will forever remember their sweet-ass dance moves. However, come the close of Mass Effect 3, all things seemed to be indicating that our time was drawing to an end, and that it was indeed time to say goodbye. Or at least it was, if you happened to witness anything other than the super secret ending that only players with an effective military strength of over 4,000 and who selected the destroy option got to witness. Here, in amongst all of the wreckage, we see the charred corpse of Shepard, much as we do in the other endings. However, just before the camera cuts away for the final time, you see them take one more breath. And this moment sent fans reeling because, in all essence, it actually makes sense for Shepard to die. I mean, their story is at a close. They gave everything to save the universe. So to see them alive is kind of like, oh, that's great and everything. A nice bit of fan service, but at the same time, not as much impact for the ending overall as a result. And it also proves one thing forevermore, and that is that the N7 armor truly is made out of the strongest material known to mankind, and that is plot. Number 5, Smarter Freaks, Days Gone. Now, Days Gone might not win any narrative awards for its writing, especially seeing as the most commented on section of the entire game was that redneck-style wedding and the terrible dialogue that was within that, but still, when it came to shocking twists at the end of this game, my god, has it got a good one for you. After completing every hideout, collecting all of the tech, and basically acting as a hoover for the hundreds of other small tasks that no one else can be bloody bothered to do, you'll get an invitation to meet with everyone's favourite helmet head, O'Brien. Here he presents Deacon with a warning, that while he's been able to stem the tide of the freaks, the winds of change are about to blow his confident piss in his face, for you see, the freaks are evolving. Now true, this is something that's already been highlighted earlier on in the game, but now, as O'Brien removes his helmet and shows you his infected face, it all becomes shockingly clear. Also, just as a side note here, when O'Brien takes his helmet off, this is why I don't want to shave my face. I worry I look like that. The enemy is evolving and they are coming. And they, in this case, are now smarter, but still just as deadly. And as you see him abscond in his helicopter, you can't help but feel that a metaphorical potato has been shoved right up your tailpipe. Oh dear. Number 4, Robot Dance-Off, Transformers Fall of Cybertron. So war, just in case you don't already know this, is a pretty serious business, especially seeing as it's very hard to have your one-liners land with as much impact as that explosive shell that's just landed right by your bloody feet. Still, thanks to an incredibly silly and over-the-top and otherwise brilliant end credits sequence in Transformers Fall of Cybertron, war definitely can be a little bit entertaining. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So with the close of this game, the metaphorical nuts and bolts have hit the fan. Bumblebee has been decommissioned after taking one for the team, and Megatron and Optimus Prime are having a scrap that is turning each of them into literal piles of it. And on top of this, the ship that they're on is now getting pulled into a portal never to be seen again. Honestly, after all of this outstanding combat and that ending, you're probably going to be left screaming at your TV screen, what the hell is going on? And praying to the video game gods, aka Slime Jesus, praise him hard, get out of here, Beelzebub, bam! That one did work today for some reason, praise him. You might be beginning to pray to Slime Jesus for answers as to all of the questions. What's going to happen to him? What's going on? He's flying back up again, he's not giving me any answers, and neither is this game! Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but no, you do not get any closure whatsoever, but what you do get instead is a robot dance-off, baby! Yes, that's right, what we get instead is robots busting a move while the brilliant You Got the Touch plays out as an homage to the original animated movie. It is excellent, it is silly, it is hilarious, it completely changes the tone of the game because now we're ending on a light moment of levity and what we just witnessed was not that, but still, it's bloody amazing while it lasts. And you know what? It's given me some inspiration for today's musical interlude. James, Jazz, are you ready to update your software to dance? Because it's time to do the robot. Beep boop.
Jules, me and Jazz actually speak robot, and that's a very offensive term.
Sorry, James, I'm a bit rusty. Beep boop. Upgrade. Downgrade. Critical system failure. Number 3, modern-day Dracula, Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Okay, so if we're being honest, Castlevania Lords of Shadow is not the best Castlevania game. Far from it, in fact, especially when it decided to drop everything that made its own franchise so renowned and decided to ape other franchises so hard that it ended up making a monkey out of itself. But still, when it was running on full steam, it was pretty fun. However, when it came to the ending, it seemed that Dracula wasn't the only one with the love of pulling the rug out from underneath players, because it contained multiple spit-take moments. For a start, the ending of the main game had seen Gabriel finally defeat Satan and return the God Mask to its rightful owner. Plus, in a bittersweet moment, he had been briefly reunited with his wife before she returns to the heavens. Now, if the game had decided to end here, I think that a lot of people would have actually preferred it, because it's like a bittersweet moment, like I said before. Gabriel finally forgives himself for sins of the past, but at the same time, he's now completely alone. Pretty cool. Yet the story continues, revealing that not only is Zobek, the secondary antagonist of the game, somehow still alive, but also that Gabriel has become Dracula and is now immortal and is actually alive in the present day, as shown when he's thrown out of a window and into a busy street.
This man has overgasped.
But this changes everything about not only the game that we've just played, but the entire series, thrusting us out of the medieval era which every Castlevania title had used, and also positing us in the big bad boots. And you know what? It's actually a brilliant twist and left many of us salivating for Lords of the Shadow 2. Which wasn't good. Number 2, Mr. President, Metal Gear Solid. At the close of the phenomenal Metal Gear Solid, you may begin to feel something drip out of your ear. Now, don't be alarmed, because this is actually your brain, and it's done so because of the sheer bludgeoning of awesomeness that is this title. From its outstanding visuals at the time, its ridiculously complex narrative, and delicious, buttery smooth honey that I wrap all over my earlobes voice acting. It just is a perfect package, really. But there's still one more surprise to be had, because Hideo Kojima is the literal definition of a cheeky whippet. As you watch Snake and either Meryl or Ocelot join him on a lovely snowmobile ride into the distance, the game fades to black and the credits begin to roll. Yet before you think this is going to be just a slow crawl of text, a voice begins to speak out. And it's none other than Revolver Ocelot, who reports to an unknown superior that he was actually a double agent working to retrieve data from the facility. He then comments on how Liquid and Solid Snake aren't the only two super soldiers in existence, revealing the person that he's reporting to as being the third, Solidus. And finally, we end on the most impactful moment of arguably the entire game, where Revolver Ocelot reveals Solidus to be none other than the President of the United States. Mic drop, boom. I hope that you enjoyed the edge of your seat, because you've just had the rest of it kicked out from underneath you. Woof. Ooh, if I wasn't already sat down, I would be sitting down. In fact, I'm going to sit down twice, because that's what this game has made me do. Ooh. And number 1, Page's Infection, Beyond Good and Evil. As we sit here and twiddle our thumbs, waiting another 2 or maybe even 3 years for what may indeed be just another short but brilliantly animated piece of marketing material for Beyond Good and Evil 2, at least we can always go back to the original and appreciate what a cult classic it was. And let's get this straight out of the gate, my friends. Beyond Good and Evil 1 is utterly brilliant. I mean, sure, the combat can feel a bit floaty today, but I challenge you to find another title of this era that did as much with world building and with gameplay variety that was this good. Plus, talk about a well-written narrative. Thanks to incredible central characters and a plot about alien abductions and long-lost powers laying dormant within humanity, players were drawn in by the intrigue that was found around every corner. And as Jade finally defeats the High Priest at the end of the game, things end on a monstrous high. That is until the post-credits scene hits you. Now, as the credits roll, we're treated to lovely, tranquil shots of peace and harmony, of things looking like they're finally on the up, and we come to rest on Page, who was just looking out over the ocean. But before you think to yourself that he's just musing on the shipping forecasts, or maybe thinking about how scary Emperor crabs are, it reveals something even worse, that he's got a DOM-Z virus that's now growing on his palm. Uh-oh. To end on this moment is genuinely distressing, especially seeing as this log of hog has already been through the absolute grinder in the main story. Plus now we're also very aware how we don't have any antidotes left, and also, lest we not forget, how long we've been waiting for a bloody sequel. Come on, man! Poor old Paige. Poor old little Piggly. Hope he's alright. Let's get out of it. And there we go, my friends. Those were 7 video game post-credit sequences that change everything. And I hope that you enjoyed that. Please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below, and drop in your suggestions for next week's episode down there as well. If you want to chat to me further, you can do so over on Twitter at RetroJ with a 0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, that's Dice with a C, where I do all of my streaming outside of work, and it'll be great to see you over there. But before I go, my friends, I just want to say one thing. You, watching this video, yes, you're a massive ledge, alright? I know I say this a lot, but I want you to truly realize that concept. You deserve the best things in life. Love, happiness, success. Do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, alright? I want you to go out there and absolutely smash your life goals today. We're on the up as a society right now. We're getting back into the mix, so let's keep that positive trainer going, alright? Big love from me to you, and take care of yourself. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Do you want me to look at you? That might...